We're back again talking with head women's basketball coach John Haskins. Coach, I wanted to talk about a couple of upcoming games for the Lady Braves. First up, you've got Augusta State. As you mentioned earlier, you lost to them last game in Augusta. They come to Pembroke to play us. What adjustments are you hoping to make with this game from the last time that you played them?
Well, first of all, I think Nate Teemer's done a very good job with that basketball program. They had struggled for a couple of years, and he inherited the program last year and has done a very good job with them. The problem they present is that they're kind of multiple defenses. They switch it up a lot. They'll run some 1-2-2, three-quarters court press. They'll run some 2-3 zone. They'll run some man-to-man. They'll trap out of the 2-3 zone. They'll trap over half court out of the 1-2-2. So we've just got to make sure that we're doing a good job of, number one, recognizing the defense and then executing against it. And I think that's the big thing. They zoned us so much that when they did play man, we did a very poor job in our man offense. So, I think it comes down to recognition and execution.
And I'm sure you're well aware that the Lady Braves are battling both Augusta State and Armstrong Atlantic for that third seed in the Peach Belt East for the postseason tournament. Does that cross your mind at all? I mean,
well, certainly it does, and I think the biggest thing in terms of head-to-head is we feel like we need to win because the first tiebreaker is head-to-head competition, and we lost both to Armstrong and Augusta on the road. So I think those become very big games just because of the first tiebreaker, in case we were tied.
All right, well, the next game after that is a big one against USC Aiken. It's really the same question here, although you go to Aiken for the return match when you played them at home first. You beat them by 6 at home the first time you played them. It was a big win for the Lady Braves. It was one of only 2 Peach Belt losses that the Aiken has, only 3 overall losses for the season. What adjustments do you make against USC Aiken at their place to try to get the sweep?
I think it's us. We've got to play better. We played horrible down there last year and got beat 30 and scored 38 points. So I think it starts with us and what we do. We've got to be ready to go on the road and really compete at a high level like we did when we played them in Pembroke. I think the biggest adjustment is we've got to get used to their very aggressive defensively. They're physical, and we've just got to make sure we play to that level.
Keeping down those turnovers, then it's got to be
a
high priority. Against
them, it's important to make good decisions with the ball and be strong with the basketball.
Well, one of the Lady Braves' strengths, in my opinion, over the last years that I've been watching them, that you've always had a very balanced scoring attack. You very rarely have had a player who averages more than 12 or 13 points a game. You have a whole bunch of people in the 5, 6, 8, 10 point a game range. Would you say that that's the case this year as well? You don't really, it's a team effort.
I think it is. I mean, obviously we rely on Courtney Bolton scoring inside, and then Dee Dee shooting and Dom being able to penetrate and score. Those 3 are our main scorers, but I think we've got some other kids on our team that can come in and score points and contribute. Maybe not get double figures or better, but they can come in and contribute, like you say, 6, 7, 8 points a game, which I think it makes it harder when you've got a team full of those to prepare for than just trying to figure out how we're going to neutralize one person.
Yeah, well, that sort of was my follow-up question. I mean, is this team game where you have a bunch of people in the scoring column, is that a system that you would prefer, or would you rather have a go-to person or two who's going to give you 18 or 20 points a game at any time?
Well, I think it's both. I mean, I think it's always nice to know that one person is going to get you X number of points, and as a coach going in versus where we're going to score tonight and how we're going to score. And I think that the biggest thing that we need to improve on as a team is scoring consistently. I tell people all the time, if we were a better offensive team and could score more consistent, we would be a very good basketball team because we've done a good enough job on the defensive end. We've, for the most part, done a good enough job rebounding that if we could get the mid-60s or high 60s every game, I think we'd be hard to handle.
Well, let me ask you kind of a follow-up to that, sort of a hypothetical situation here. But when you're facing a team that has a go-to scorer, somebody who scores 18 or 20 points a game, is it your philosophy? What would you rather do? Would you rather shut that player down and make the rest of the team beat you, or would you rather do it the other way around?
I think good players are going to get theirs because coaches design stuff. When we played North Georgia, and that girl Corrins is an outstanding player. She scored 28 against us. She was averaging about 28. And we did give her some easy stuff, but our biggest thing was don't give her easy stuff. Don't give her layups. Don't foul her shooting the basketball, and don't give her second chances. And I think with really good players, you just got to try to limit their very good opportunities. And if there's a couple of sets that they like to get the ball, particularly for a post player, you've got to do some things, maybe double the post and stuff like that. But make the other player, she's going to kind of get hers. let's see what we can do with the other players, and not, not give up something from the other players.
Well, as someone who has coached both men's programs and women's programs, I wanted to ask you, and I don't know if this is a fair question or not, but tell us what some of the fundamental differences are between the men's game and the women's game. We all talk about the speed, of course, but there's a lot more to it than just that.
I'd kind of start with the mental emotional. I can't be probably quite as aggressive coaching females because they kind of carry that with them where a guy will, I'll show you coach type attitude. So I think that's the first thing. I think the biggest thing about the women's game that I like is the team game. Guys are so athletic and can do things with the basketball that you can just give a guy and get your own shot, whereas the girls, it got to be more within the team concept. We need screens, we need ball movement to get people shots, and I think that's true from both the offensive and defensive end. Well,
we appreciate it and good luck. We hope you get a couple of wins this week, and that's all the time that we have for this week's edition of the Black and Gold Report. Until next week, go Braves.